Hey homies! As you may know by now, I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli, and I also love me some classic RPG goodness. So today I wanted to take a look at the Ghibli RPG. No, not that one. What the red flying
Mamma mia!
No, I'm talking about Jade Cocoon, story of the Tamamayo. The original Ghibli RPG, because the characters were designed by the great character artist and animator Katsuyo Kodo, who's done design work for Ghibli since the 1980s. Jade Cocoon was released in 1998 in Japan. Developed by Genkai, a company I've never heard of before, which is apparently known for its racing games. Like this. Damn, I gotta get this on cassette. Yeah, so from this to this, moving on. Jade Cocoon starts with this great animation of what's to come, and I must admit, it looks pretty awesome. Now, does the game live up to this? Kind of. You start the game as the Chosen One, a cocoon master and son of the great warrior Raiketsu. You're talking to your soon-to-be bride the night before a festival when this little shit shows up.
Hey, you two! Getting a little hot up here, if you know what I mean.
Louie, this is none of your business, kid. Get out of here!
Yeah, kid, stop cock-blocking.
I'm not a kid! And besides, this watchtower's my responsibility.
So, you go to bed, have some weird fever dream, and awake the next day to the village under attack by some evil bugs. The bugs put some villagers under an eternal sleep spell, so of course it's up to you to find the antidote and save the village. As I previously mentioned, you're a cocoon master, which means you have the ability to entrap monsters in a cocoon using a flute. Similar to Pokemon, but unlike Pokemon, you have the ability to attack the monsters yourself. The hero can equip weapons and armor, as well as use consumable spell items. But in most battles, you'll need to summon monster minions. You can summon up to 3 monsters in battle who can perform elemental attacks and magic. The power chart is the pretty standard fire, water, earth, and wind. But it works fine. One notable factor is that killing a monster as the hero does nothing, and is implicitly stated to be wrong.
But remember, the mission of the Cocoon Master is not to kill, but to soothe souls. No matter how furious or violent a minion may be, you must not kill. Killing will bring you nothing.
Your goal is to really capture every monster you encounter, thereby leveling up your capture level. In fact, for example, the only way to improve the hero's health stat is nuts you find in chests and ones occasionally dropped by monsters. Though your monsters level up by defeating other monsters, so I don't know. I mean, when you think about it, that's like endorsing bug fighting till some dude pulls a swatter.
Must not kill.
You spend a majority of your time traveling between the forest areas and your village. The village acts as a hub where you can buy items, armor, and just talk to people. Though your main reason for returning is the monster merging mechanic. As stated earlier, you have a wife, and she has the ability to purify your caught monsters and merge them.
Merge thy flesh to gain yet greater power. Reveal to us thy heroic form.
Now this is where the game gets interesting. Merging your monsters together not only changes their stats and appearances, but also their elements and abilities. You can carry up to 3 monsters, but there are 4 elements, which means you'll want each one to be at least a dual type. Some monsters also have unique special attacks with modifiers, like plus power or accuracy. To make a long story short, each monster can be highly customizable if you take the time to learn the merging process. A similar mechanic would later be used in games like Shin Megami Tensei and the Digimon Cyber Sleuth series. Another mechanic I should mention is the walking, because this game has
Tank control!
yes, like Jill and Chris, the Cocoon Master walks like a blind duck nursing a rectal infection. Thankfully, this is saved with the presence of a run button. Just press the triangle to send your hero running forward, making slight adjustments with the D-pad to head right or left. Now I want to go over the reason I bought this damn game in the first place. The presentation. How does it look, sound, and feel? Pretty okay. Koto's character designs look very appealing with a few exceptions. What? One thing I do really like about this game is a majority of the dialogue is voice acted.
That's all for now. Master Chorus's cottage lies ahead. Go on! Get out of here! Next time I won't go so easy on you!
Which might not sound like a big plus today, but you need to remember, this game came out over 20 years ago on the original PlayStation. So this wasn't the norm for the time. For context, the big daddy of the RPG world, Final Fantasy, didn't include voice acting till the PlayStation 2 with Final Fantasy X. The voice quality for the time is also impressive, though Poto's old crusty ass gets pretty old fast.
I have a fine view of the forest. I love the forest. That is why I like it here.
Luckily, he's not like the village elder who goes into great detail about the lore of the land.
That stretched across these lands long ago. But once upon a time, Prince Menic, son of Kunii, son of Alan, was his father, because men aroused but in the forest never in sorrow.
Now the story, without going into too much detail, is kinda generic for RPGs. Like I mentioned previously, you are the chosen hero of destiny who must save the world from evil while keeping in balance nature's and man's desires by collecting the crystals of yada yada yada. If you're a big fan of RPGs, you've probably heard this story before. But one thing I did really like is the relationship between the hero and his wife. Your wife Mabu is a somewhat complex character who has feelings about the world, but more interestingly, your relationship. There are these kind of awkward conversations where she talks to you about her issues being your wife and the fear that you might run off like your father did. Purification actually takes a toll on the user, so every time you bring in more cocoons, you're actually inadvertently hurting someone you care about, which adds a level of death to something that would normally be a thoughtless action. Also, adventuring means you're not spending direct time with her, which obviously could weaken a relationship. This dynamic to me was my core motivation to seeing the story through, because a story without interesting characters isn't really worth telling, right? Now, some points about some stuff that pissed me off, with slight spoilers ahead. There's this door in the late game called the Gate of Darkness or something that I can't enter. Now I know it's in the sequel, but I don't have the sequel, so this is just some Ella's real cock tease. Also the post game, the Eternal Corridor of Boredom, 1,000 stages of endless fun. Yes, you can acquire new monster minions, and it does provide a nice challenge for those hardcore players. But the base gameplay really isn't fun enough to stretch out to this length. With all those small gripes out of the way, could I recommend Jade Cocoon? Yes. It's honestly a fun little adventure, which at the time had a level of polish that made it stand out. It's not always the most compelling experience, but you could do far worse with even modern gen RPGs today. So, I give Jade Cocoon a 7 out of 10. Play it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. If you disliked the video, please dislike and comment on why it sucked, because then I won't make these. Have a great day.